Hey there everyone, it's CandyEvie here. The Pokemon Sun and Moon trailer released last Tuesday revealed a lot of things, the most shocking being the starters and the legendaries. But while the type combinations of the starters were revealed from the get-go, this was not the case for the legendaries. We only even saw them for a few seconds before the trailer just cut to box art. We didn't even get to see their types, and it hasn't been revealed anywhere else. We don't even have the names yet. But going by the leaked trademarks, I think it's safe to assume that these two are Solgaleo and Lunala. For the most part, all of the mascot legendaries have kept their Japanese names, so that's what I'm going to be calling them from now on. And in today's video, we are going to be focusing on Lunala, or rather, the top 5 types that it could be. I've also done a video on Pokemon Sun's legendary too, being Solgaleo, so you can check that out if you want. Number 5. Pure Flying. I think this one is obvious, just look at its giant parachute-like wings. It's definitely the most obvious type based on what we know. The only reason why I believe this is so unlikely would be because pure flying type Pokemon just aren't a common occurrence. It took us 5 generations to even get one pure flying type Pokemon. That's just because pretty much all flying type Pokemon have something else going on in their design other than the fact that they can fly. While Lunala is undoubtedly a Pokemon that is capable of flight, I believe that there's something more to it than its wings. Number 4. Flying and Ferry. When I think of fairy types, a few words come to mind. Elegant, mysterious, serene. And for the most part, Lunala fits this idea pretty well, fitting right in there with the more elegant fairy types like Xerneas and Gardevoir. Kinda. So it really would not surprise me if they created more Pokemon in these new games to showcase what is still the newest type that we know of. Number 3. Flying and Dark. Out of the types that we have, I would say that this one is one of the most realistic. We're not even going to go into why it could be a flying type again, but there are many reasons why it could be a dark type. The strongest point to support this being the fact that it's the mascot legendary of Pokemon Moon. You know, the moon which comes out at night and stuff. Darkness. It almost seems perfect, but there are a few flaws. Firstly, you have to understand that in Japan, where these games are created, the dark type means something slightly different. In Japan, the dark type is known as the evil type, so a pure association with the night is not enough. For a Pokemon to be of a dark type, it has to have something sinister about it. And yeah, Lunala's eyes do look a little creepy, but when you take its eyes away, there really isn't much to go on. And then there's the fact that having a flying dark mascot legendary 2 times in a row would be really lame. But hey, they've done it 3 times in a row with fire starters, so anything's possible. Number 2. Flying and Psychic. Now here's a Pokemon that could realistically be flying psychic. It certainly looks a lot more like this type than Lugia does, that's for sure. We really don't know a lot about Lunala's potential abilities yet, but when we do, I'm sure that it will reveal a lot more. Lunala also has this space theme going on in its design, which is kind of something that gives off a psychic type vibe. Not unlike Olympia's design. Seriously, Lunala shares so many design features with the psychic type gym leader of Kalos. From the space theme to the crescent moon, it is definitely an important factor to consider. My good friend Birdkeeper Toby did an entire video on this theory, so you should really check it out. The majority of Pokemon that are associated with space seem to be given the psychic type too. I definitely think that flying psychic seems to be the most realistic type out of what we already have. And number 1 is flying and a new type. While I can't argue the point for other types, I can still understand why some people might be confused about Lunala's type. So, there is the possibility of a new type again. The idea of a new type is kinda gimmicky, but it's exciting at the same time. It works pretty well in X and Y, so why wouldn't it work again? The only type that I can see working for both Lunala and Solgaleo would be some kind of cosmic type. It has that weird cosmic pattern going on in its face, and while that could support a psychic type too, it would make sense for a new type as well, so it's something to think about. So there you have it. Those were the top 5 types that I believe Lunala could be in Pokemon Sun and Moon. Be sure to check out my other video too, analysing the top 5 types that Solgaleo could be. Anyway, that's all for now from me, and I'll see you next time. Bye!